Hey everybody, we have week-old Labradoodle puppies in this video. And today we're going to tell you a bit about each of the puppies. We'll give you an update on their weight, what they have accomplished in the last week. We'll let you know if they've hit their milestone, their first milestone. Give you an update on Mama Juniper, and then we're going to talk a bit about getting ready to welcome a puppy into your home. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these are our sable puppies from the Turkish Coffee litter, and they're 1 week old today. So you can hear them all making a big racket, and that's because we just had them all fussed up. What we were doing just before the video is we took all the puppies out, we put them in a big container, we took Mom away, and then we came and we cleaned out our box, changed the rug out. So every time we do that, the puppies are unhappy with us as they find that a little bit of an upset. So all that is happening here is they're all jockeying for position at the milk bar. They're all talking to make sure that Mama Juniper knows they're there and letting her know that, hey, where'd you go? It's kind of funny because when they're sleeping and she gets up to go outside, they generally don't make any fuss. They usually just hang out together. They're warm, they've got full tummies, and they don't really even register the fact that she's gone. But if Juniper comes out with Posy and stays in the house for a while and is out hanging out with us for a bit longer than the puppies are used to, then you hear the protests begin. Now, the other reason sometimes the puppies will fuss when they're at the milk bar is if they have all just eaten and the milk bar is empty, but they're there looking for comfort. Because puppies don't just nurse and come close to mom like this to get nourishment. They do it for comfort. It's just like babies when they're being breastfed. They really like that comfort. It's like being held, it's warm, it's mom, it's the only smell that they know really well besides me, and it's just where they want to be. This is their security blanket. Now, one of the things that is in your puppy starter kit, if you're getting a puppy starter kit from us, is a specially made bed. It's all handmade, hand sewn in Canada, and it's all natural fibers. It doesn't have all that synthetic stuffing. It's not full of chemicals like beds that you find in retail outlets. But the really cool thing about this bed is it's a donut bed with a high side. It's designed to mimic this exact same experience for the dog, and they all just love it because they can go right with their noses right up to the side and sink in, and that way they feel like they're being hugged by mom again. They can, and when they get older, lie like Juniper is against the side, and it gives them the feeling that they're lying next to another dog. If you've ever noticed, dogs often lie back to back, and the reason they do that is that that's their communication for, I completely trust you, I'm entirely relaxed, let's support one another. And when your dog sleeps with you, you'll probably find quite often that your dog sleeps with their back leaning up against your leg, curled up against your leg quite often. And generally they'll present you with their rear end next to your face as opposed to their head. And the reason for that is this is how we communicate for a dog. This is how you know who I am. I know who you are because this is where I meet you. It's different from a handshake for a person. And for people, it's a little off-putting because that's not how we greet people. But for dogs, it works perfectly. They can just easily, by smelling one another's rear end, find out all sorts of things. Are you a boy? Are you a girl? Have you been spayed or neutered? Are you in season? Where'd you go last time? What did you just eat? All these kinds of things. It's amazing what puppies or dogs can learn from what their noses tell them. Everybody's still having, oh, it's a little light blue. You couldn't get through there. There you go. Oh my goodness, so many complaints. So that's why dogs greet one another that way. This is how they get to know you. It's the same thing as if we were to come up and shake their hands and they could talk and say, oh, hi, I'm Claire. What's your name? Oh, great. Where do you work? Or where are you from? Where do you live? Things like that. That's what dogs do when they're sniffing each other's rear ends. And one thing that's a really interesting thing for people, a lot of people have read on the internet, or there's some folklore in their family, that there is a difference between a male dog and a female dog in terms of biddability, trainability, and what some behaviors are. That is all bunk. Once a dog is spayed and neutered, even before they're spayed and neutered, they can be intact. There is this much difference between a boy dog and a girl dog. None at all in terms of their temperament. You will not find that males become bigger than females. You will not find that males are more inclined to wander. None of these things are actually true. If you speak to your veterinarian, they will confirm for you that there is absolutely no difference between a boy and a girl dog. So lots of times we get people who say, oh, if they're adding a second dog, Rover prefers girl dogs. Or they'll say, oh, I would like a boy dog because they are easier to train. So both of those things are not true. For a dog, every single dog in the world reads to them as the same gender, which is actually neither. Once they're neutered and spayed, the only information the dog gets from their nose is that the dog is not intact. They don't know if it's a him or a her because it no longer makes any difference. Dog's pee doesn't smell different if it's a him or a her dog once they're spayed and neutered, because all of those natural hormones that would be there if they were intact have been removed when they're spayed and neutered. So there's completely no difference. If a dog is intact, then when they greet each other sniffing the bum, the dog will be able to, doing the sniffing, will know, oh, this is an intact dog. That's it. That's all they know. Now, if you got a girl in season and you've got a boy in who's tacked, well, that's a whole different situation. That's a little bit more romantic. But for most of us, we have spayed and neutered dogs. We interact with spayed and neutered dogs, and there is absolutely no difference at all. I have had amazing boy dogs who are just like the most outstanding dogs. The two dogs in my life that are forever, ever imprinted in my mind as, oh, these were my special dogs. And they are both boys. And right now I have two dogs who are going to be those same very, very special imprinted forever dogs in my life, and they're both girls. Are they different? Not really. My one girl that I have now is practically a clone of my one boy that I lost 3 years ago, and they're incredibly similar. And one other thing just to know is that when dogs are intact, the top tier for dog hierarchy and dog culture is female dogs who are intact. They run the show. So there's just a little bit of information for you about how dogs meet one another and why the donut bed that we have included in your puppy starter kit is such a fabulous item for your dog. It just provides them with so much comfort. And the other good thing is it comes apart. You can throw it in the washing machine, you can throw it in the dryer, and it comes out looking like new. Ours get washed probably, probably 40, 50 times. We have hundreds of dogs coming through that use them, and we've had them for many, many years, and they just stand up beautifully. Really nice product. You can also order them through curatedcanines.com if you are not getting a puppy from us and not getting a puppy starter kit. So the other thing that has been going on with these little sweethearts this week is they've been growing. So you can see between our birth announcement video and our week 1 video, these puppies are much, much larger. They're much, much more robust. And they really are starting to show us a little bit more about what they look like. When they're first born, you know, they are newborns, and their facial features and everything aren't all that evident. So when we pick them all up, you'll see each of them and get to know them a bit better. And you can see too that the little stripes from their sable coloring are starting to disappear somewhat. Obviously, this one is still quite predominant. This one, though, you can see is already disappearing up here. At birth, this went right the way down in a solid line. This one you can't see the back of. This is yellow. Yellow is doesn't have a stripe, so I don't believe is an actual sable. So now it seems like it's still such a long time before you're going to bring your puppy home. But, you know, it's a great time to start getting ready and doing some practicing because the way you live, the way your house is set up is all going to change once you bring your puppy home, because you want everything to be great for your puppy and you want everything to work well for you as well. Because what we want is for this puppy to complement your life, not complicate it. And for this litter right now, it is December 22nd today. So Christmas is just a few days away. There's various other celebrations going on during this holiday season. So everyone has at least a 4-day weekend at this time of the year. And so we do have a little bit more time together as a family. If you have children, the kids are out of school. So this is a really great time to use your puppy as a way to do a family activity. And let's make it fun. Let's not make it like, these are the rules. So it's not fun. Let's do something that's really fun for you, and if you have kids, for your kids as well. And let's do it together. And if you're single, hey, get a best friend to come over and talk it through with you. What's more fun than planning for a puppy? So the things you want to take into consideration are, what door are you going to use for the puppy to go out? That's really important. It needs to be a door that everybody can open. It's ideal if it's a centrally located door in your house. Or if you have a door that goes out to your backyard, which is where most dogs go, then you are going to want to sort of look around your house and figure out, okay, this is the door that the dog's going to go out. So how can the puppy have their living space in this area? Because when you first come home, your puppy's going to have a fairly limited access to your house. You don't just give them free run of the house and expect things to go well. That won't be a good situation, believe me. So you want to have an area that you can block off. So again, in your puppy starter kit, one of the things you get is an X-pen. X-pens can go in circles, they can go in rectangles, they can go in squares, or they can be spread completely out. So if you have a room, which is generally the door to the back door is somewhere near your eating area, and you can use the X-pen to spread across the opening into the rest of the house, fantastic. That's just ideal. It's better even than closing a door. You can't close the door, but having the X-pen means that the puppy can see you if you've got to go out into, say, what the next room is, which maybe is your entryway or perhaps your living area, and the puppy's in still the eating and food prep area. They can still see you, so they're not going to be upset or anything like that. And then if you have the X-pen spread out, it's really easy. You just pull it over to get through with your puppy. So that's the number one consideration. The next thing is you want to figure out dog-free zones. So if you do have kids, this is a really great way as a family to, not just for kids, but for us grown-ups too, is to learn not to leave things out and around. Shoes need to get put into a closet or behind a door somewhere or up high. Cell phones, oh my goodness, those are puppy favorites. Remote controls, any of those types of things, not on a low coffee table. They've got to go somewhere high. Then check out where all your cords are. So especially in your living area, your puppy's going to be coming and spending time with you in your living area watching TV in the evenings, right? You like to do that, don't you, Juniper? So take a look now for all the cords. Are your cords all nicely behind and perhaps a TV stand so they're not out and about? Or do you have lamps with the cords on the floor? And we have a couple of those. So what I do is I put them on an extension cord, and then I lift the cord right up, drape it over the lamp, and move the lamp such that there's nothing hanging down low enough for where the puppy can get it. Is it a nice decorating feature? Not so much, but is it better than an electrocuted puppy? Definitely. So there's a few little adjustments that you're going to have to make that are similar to that type of thing. Kids, if you have your room with your clothes all over the floor, if you're teenage years, or if you have all your stuffies and your toys, if you're younger than that, either you're going to need to start practicing right now to close your door every time you go out of your room, or holy smokes, you're going to have to get really good at putting things away. If I was you, I'd just close the door. Goodness, who wants to be putting that stuff away all the time? Nah, you want to play with a puppy. So kids' rooms usually are puppy-free zones. Parents, same thing. If you tend to leave your shoes out, or if you put your pajamas somewhere that a puppy can reach it, just to be aware, they will come and they will get it, and they will be very happy to take those away and use them as toys. Because you know the only toys that are really good are the ones that are things they shouldn't have. So take some time as a family to think about that. And the other thing that's really fun to do now is start thinking of a name. So if you are a family, if there's more than one or two of you, you can start, maybe make a chart, put down all the names that you have in mind, and then get some of those little sticky dots and do dotography, and put dots on. So you can all put a name up, and then each of you can vote for which name you like the best. So maybe have 3 colors, red's your top pick, yellow's your second pick, green's your last pick, or whatever you want to do. And go through that until you end up with a name that works for everyone. And when you're picking a name, just a couple of things to keep in mind. Try to pick a name that's unique, not something that's the most popular current dog type of names. Anything that is Finn, Finnegan, Finley, there are so many dogs named that when you are out for a walk and you call your dog, hey, Finn, Finny, you're going to get a whole bunch of dogs coming to you. It's also harder for your dog to learn initially that that is their name if that name is called by a lot of different people. So if you're in puppy school and there's 4 Finns, it's very hard for a puppy to learn to distinguish your voice and their name Finn from this person over here calling Finn. So try to pick something that's a little bit unique and interesting. It's really great if you have a 2-syllable name or a name that can be shortened. So Juniper, for example, she has all sorts of nicknames, of course, but Junie is what we usually call her most of the time. And the reason why you want to have a nickname is because you're going to go, hey, Junie girl, what a good girl Junie is. But if I really want her to listen to me, and perhaps she's outside and she's sniffing something and I want her to come right now, then it's Juniper. And you see how that instant eye contact, she immediately stopped what she was doing. Good girl, to give me that eye contact, because she's well aware that when it's the whole name, that means something different from when Junie, what a good girl. Because we say it differently, different tones that we use all the time. And the other thing you want is something that's not so unusual and so spelled so differently or pronounced so differently that nobody else can say it, especially if you have kids. Something that's easy to remember, something that your vet will know, your groomer will know. They remember you and your dog more, and that's what you want, is to build relationships with those stakeholders. So really popular names right now are like Finn, Bailey, Gracie, Lucy. I'm going to run out of things that I think of, but those are ones that we hear over and over many, many times. We have a couple of really interesting named dogs from our families. Gao Jai, Kuma, for example. Kuma means bear and Gao Jai means dog in Cantonese. So if you got something that's, relates to you as a family, great. That's really cool if you have something that you can really identify with. if you have any problems thinking of names, these are Australian Labradoodles. They're called that because the breed did originate in Australia. So it's really fun to look up things from Australia. The other thing is maybe something related to the litter. So Juniper is named Juniper because there are juniper trees and bushes on Vancouver Island. And she kind of has that unique kind of color. It also is a juniper berry makes gin, and I really like to drink gin. So there we go. That's how she got her name. Cloud is the dad for this litter. Cloud's name is Cloud because he comes from one of my girls who I sold to a breeder in Alberta, and then she bred my girl whose name is Stormy with one of her dogs, and so I got Cloud from that. So his registered name is Storm Cloud or Van Isle, sorry. And so we call him Cloud. He also, because he's sable, his color kind of looks like a cloud. It just sort of floats all through him, as is typical of sable. So something to do maybe with cloud, sky, storm, weather, who knows? Just some ideas for you. So we will be sending all of our families the video, letting you know a bit more information about setting up your home so you can work on that over the holidays when the kids are off school. And now let's talk about the puppies. First of all, we'll talk about Juniper because Junie's the most important part here. Juniper's doing fabulously. She's absolutely happy as can be, which is really lovely to see. She's always smiling, her tail's going. Very, very comfortable with her puppies. She's great. She's coming out, hanging out with us, but she only stays she'll stay for about 10 minutes. She loves to go outside. She loves to run around. I hope you saw the video on the Van Isle Doodles page of her with my 3 dogs running through the snow when it first came down. Now we're really hoping that the snow leaves because we've all had enough of that and the cold temperatures. But she loves to run around when she goes outside. And you can see she really likes attention. She will leave her babies to have attention just one-on-one with mom. This is very much Juniper. She's a very affectionate girl. And like I said, she's got that enormously fantastic eye contact. She really wants to know what you're saying. So she knows I'm talking about her. So she's like, okay, I'm going to come and be right in front of you, right, sweetheart? So that's a good girl. She's eating really well. So she's up to now 3 times what she would be eating normally, and she's really enjoying both her frozen raw and her puppy love freeze-dried food. That is what she's eating. She does not wish to eat any Stella and Chewies right now, thank you very much. Not the freeze-dried Stella and Chewies. That's not on the menu this week. So she's not lost any weight at all. She's actually put on a little bit of weight. You can see her coat is beautiful and full. There's no coat coming out. You don't ever want to see that in a dog who's pregnant or who is nursing. Dogs who are properly nourished do not lose their coat. It is not something that should happen normally. That means the dog is being taxed by the pregnancy and not receiving enough support, nutritionally speaking. So Juniper says that's enough of talking about me. Are you going to go out now? Because I'm going to talk about your puppies. Okay. Nope, you're going to lie down? All right. Juniper just wants to be the star of the show. So we're going to go through the puppies now. Now, the first milestone in the first week that we look for in our puppies is to have them double their birth weight. And we manage that with no problem, right? These puppies are all nice, solid chunks of puppy. They are well nourished and they are happy. And as you can see, at least I think maybe you can see if we just move you over a bit. Now that they've eaten, they all just are so content. And you see they're not fussed at all that Juniper's not lying right beside them. And if you can see, particularly here in blue collar, come here, can you just move over this way just a bit so we can see your puppies? Thank you. You can see here on blue collar, look at the gleam and the shine in that coat. It's really evident because he is a black sable, so you can see it a little bit more on his coat. They are all equally shiny. You can see on pink collar girl, she is also a black sable, and you can see how much already her coat has cleared out here. She's going to be looking very, very much like her dad, Cloud, when she ends up having her coat color. So she'll have still dark over on her face, and then she'll be almost like a parchment type of color on her back. And then on red too, you can see how gleamy he is. So all of that is because these puppies are eating a raw food diet. They're not eating raw food, of course, right yet. All they're doing is nursing, but they are eating what mom eats. And since we started breeding, we've gone right back in the 80s feeding raw food to the Siberian Huskies. That raw food was not balanced, was not complete. However, it was raw food, and the dogs did well on it. And then we switched over to kibble for a while because there was no properly balanced and well-made raw dog food available at that time. So we went back to kibble. And then once we finally started getting good products available, in raw again, we switched back to raw. And the difference in the puppies and the moms is astronomical. It's just amazing how much better the dogs all do on the raw diet. So we're going to start, and we're going to go in birth order as always. So we're going to start with Shiny Boy here. This is Blue Collar. Blue Collar is a black sable. And we're just going to touch him first before we pick him up so he knows that something's happening. They are used to me handling them. I am in here all the time. They do get handled frequently throughout the day. So this little guy is going to show you his beautiful little pink mouth. He is, as I said, a black sable. And now today I'm going to tell you how we can tell if they're black or chocolate. It wasn't as easy to do on the day they were born, but you can see very clearly he has a black nose and he also has black pads. So even though he's got all this beautiful mahogany color through him, this is going to clear out. And again, he's going to look a bit like Cloud, but I believe he's going to stay darker than Cloud. He's going to have a little bit more of that gorgeous, beautiful ebony shine going through him. And Blue Collar is now 447 grams. So I think that's a pound. I'm not very good at doing the converting, but close anyways to a pound. Really doing just fabulously. Just a sweet little guy. I love his little face. Very pretty little puppy. And then next we have Green. Let's put you over here. This is Green here. Now Green, you can see before I pick him up, he has beautiful waves in his coat. Green is going to be a curly puppy. Now, where did the curls come from? Well, because way back in the beginning, we did have poodles that started this breed called Labradoodle. There were curly dogs, and there are still curls within the breed. Some people just love curls. I can tell you one thing, a curly coat is easier to maintain than the straighter coat. I really like both. I think curls are just the cutest thing in the world. So this little guy is going to have a really pretty little curly coat. And he is a chocolate. He is clearly brown. Now you don't see his stripe. And so does that mean he's a sable, or does that mean he's a phantom? I'm going to say he is going to end up being a sable because his face doesn't really have strong phantom markings. And then on his legs, you can see that they're more pronounced on the back of the leg as the front, as opposed to the front of the leg. So I'm pretty sure this guy's going to be a chocolate sable. If you look on the owners group, we had quite a good post the other day all about sables, and we have many pictures showing what sable puppies look like as puppies and what they look like as adults. So you can get a really good idea. There's lots of examples of chocolate sables in there of what color they will be as an adult. Pretty much though, they all clear out, so the chocolates will likely end up being the same color as Mummy Junie. I'm trying to get her, catch her eye, but she's not going to look at me. She's like, no, I'm done in there now. You look after them. So it'll be like a milky chocolate color that they end up maturing to. And Green is 445 grams. So again, right around that 1 pound mark, really excellent for week 1. Now Yellow Collar, oh yes, here he is upside down. See if I can just move out of the way. And while he's upside down, we can take a peek and see all of his white showing there. So this is what we call a tri, because this dog is not sable. I'm 99% sure. He is actually a phantom. He has no stripe. His markings are strong. They're all in the right place. And you can see inside his ears too. So I would be amazed if he is sable, but you know, I have been wrong before. So that's why I say 99% sure that he is going to be a chocolate phantom. And he has a brown nose, and he has brown pads on his feet, as brown dogs do. And this guy is our biggest guy in the litter, and he weighs 579 grams. Oh, good grief. He is one big boy. He's got a big blocky head. He's got the pretty white markings on his face. He's quite the dude, aren't you? Yeah, that's my guy. So that's yellow collar. Next we have silver collar, who is, are you silver? Sometimes, yep, I was right. Sometimes I have to double check. Silver collar. Silver collar is also chocolate. Again, you can see the nose is still actually pink, but if you peek at the feet, they are brown pads, not black. And he is a sable, and again, he doesn't have much of a line on his back. In the light, if you move him around, you can see the stripe is there. But even if he didn't have that, again, his markings that sort of resemble phantom, just down the side of the face, very weak in the front of the face, and again, more on the back of the leg than the front of the leg. So those are all indicative of having a sable puppy. And Mr. Silver, he is 451 grams. So everybody is in the 1 pound range. Actually, everybody is except for Pink, who's just a little shy of that. Next we have red collar boy. Where are you, red? Red, 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 red. You must be underneath yellow. There you are. I just move you over there, yellow. Now red collar is clearly a sable, and when you look at him you go, well, what is he? Is he black or is he brown? And if you look just from there and you can't see his feet or his nose, you don't know. But he is black, and you will see that because he has black feet, black pads on his feet, oh, and a black nose and all those black lips. What a pretty boy. This is a really pretty puppy. I love the face on this puppy. Just the sweetest little guy. I know. Well, they're all very sweet right now. We don't know anything about you. And red is 478 grams and looking just so sleepy. There we go. And then we have the tiniest puppy in the litter, who is Pink Collar Girl. And Pink is right here. Oh, she's got something on her head. And Pink, now what color is she, do you think? Oh, there she's pretty brown looking on her back. You can see her stripe is really strong. What did you get on you here? Some dust. And she has the black nose. And she has black feet. So she is a black dog. Now you can see her phantom markings are a little bit more strong on her face. She does look more like a typical phantom, but that stripe is giving it away. She is a sable with the prettiest little white chin in the whole world. That's why, what a beautiful girl. And Pinky is 435 grams. So as far as I know, that's not a pound. Is that right, Reynolds? She's not a pound yet? Okay. I have to check with Reynolds. He knows these things, not me. And last but not least, we have our other little girl in the little litter, Purple Collar Girl. Now Purple, you can see she's got those gorgeous waves. We've got a little bit of a curly girl here. We have a little chocolate girl. She is definitely a sable, and she is going to have just the cutest little curls. Whether these will be waves like Juniper or they'll be a little bit more of a curl, beats me. Cloud doesn't really have a curly coat. He has a little bit of curl in his coat, but it's really more of what you would call a wavy coat, and June is also a wavy girl. And Purple Collar Girl is 469 grams. So she's doing just great. So that is all the puppies and lots of information about getting ready for Christmas. If you're watching this video today and you do already have a dog, I'm going to put a link to one of our YouTube videos. in the comments, and it's all about the holidays and your dog and buying gifts for them. We really, really, really recommend that you do not buy gifts from big box pet stores, especially those candy cane type things. No rawhide for sure. So many dogs have unplanned emergency visits. I guess if it's an emergency, it's always unplanned. Surgeries, and even die from things that they get into over Christmas. And make sure your ornaments are up high on your tree, or again, use your X pen to go around the bottom of your tree. Make sure that when you're having people over, if you've got goodies out, nothing that is on a table that a dog can reach. And remember, if you have an Australian Labradoodle, they're super smart. So if you've left the table and there's food on your dining table, they are well able to figure out how to move that chair out, get on the chair, get on the table, and eat something they shouldn't. So just make sure, don't buy presents for your dog that are those types of things. Maybe buy a toy and then wait and invest in something that your dog's really going to benefit from, like one of the donut beds or a safe toy. In your puppy starter kit, all your toys are completely safe. Buy really good quality treats. You can certainly order from us if you like. You can go wherever you'd like. But you can definitely find lots of really high quality treats. The brands we recommend are Puppy Love, Woof, Itty, Bixby, and Vital Essentials. Those are the ones we use for our dogs. Those are some Canadian and some American, and we also use Farm Fresh. We really like Farm Fresh. It too is Canadian, so lots of options there for you to try out. If you want to check any of those things out, you can go to our store website, which is curatedcanines.com. I'll put a link in the comments for you for that too. And you can just go to treats and you'll see everything that's there. All of those are really great products. You don't have to buy them from us. You can buy them anywhere, but at least then you can read about them and be familiar with the names. So we hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. Thanks for sharing your time with us to enjoy these little Labradoodle puppies. And we'll see you all again in 1 week.